heard you're a big Fantasia fan. Tell us where does the passion come from, and just tell us about that story.
I'm a fan of one Fantasia song that went viral. I've never told anybody this. I was going to do it after the Clemson game in 2023 if we had won.
Okay.
And we didn't. So I wasn't able to. I had it all prepped because that was like my wife's birthday month.
Yeah.
And had it all ready to go. So I'm like, well, that backfired on me as well. But then I don't know how this year after we beat A&M, I had just been hearing the song and knew the words, and it was my wife's birthday weekend. So I'm like, this would be pretty cool. You know, she's always in the locker room with the other families after games, and, you know, bring her up and to me, and then sang to her Fantasia, When I See You. Had quite the little performance as well.
Not too shabby.
I did okay. But it goes to show the culture in our program, the way the players have my back.
Yeah, for sure.
They
rallied.
Definitely had my back, because if they had not if they hadn't had my back like they did, it could have gone like horribly wrong.
Could have been tough. Yeah.
But no, like Fantasia, she was here recently for a concert in Columbia.
Oh, no
as
way.
well. I
Did
wasn't
you
able
go?
to get to it. I wish I was not able to, but I know it was great having her in town, and she was super sweet. After all that went viral, she sent a video to the team. She sent flowers to the coaching staff.
That's cool.
And just said how awesome it was, what we did, and that she's a fan.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm Darien Rencher. Joined by...
Welcome back. It's Anthony Hasan.
Look, excited for this one, just because this is a guy I competed against, and then just over the course of him getting a job in Carolina, I had a lot of friends play for him, and heard nothing but great things. I've interacted with him a couple times just throughout just different events, but this is my first time really getting to really kick it with him. And I'm a big Coach Beamer fan. Like I really am. Like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Dude's a good dude. You see why guys love to play for him or run through a wall for him.
How can you not, bro? Like, you see, he's so funny on social media with all the dances.
Hey, make sure we're classy in our post game with the media. All right, but at SEC Media Days, he talked about stupid sunglasses and dancing. Come on, Governor.
The guys rally behind him. I think people say that about a lot of programs, but they lost 3 early games last season.
Close to.
Yeah, really close games. It would have been really easy for the team just to mail it in. All right, season's over, new quarterback, coach is going to get fired. But they just went on a run. I think they won like 8 or 9 straight, went crazy. Should have made the playoffs. We get into it in the episode.
For sure.
And now massive expectations for this year. And it's largely because of Coach Beamer.
I think he's did a really good job of like managing the roster to where he can make it competitive. And then, like we said, they got a great home atmosphere. So everything off the field they always had going for them, but now they got the on the field stuff to kind of also add. Yeah. So to me, I can't. If you're a Carolina fan, bro,
this is the time.
This is the time. Yeah. This is the time to be a Carolina fan. And then to me, even in-state wise, he's 2-2 versus Coach Wynn.
Oh, and he won the last 2, didn't he?
No, they split. So it's literally been Clemson won, they won. Clemson won, they won.
And now it's home in Columbia
at Williams-Brice.
Probably gonna be a night game. Honestly, what's the last game, right? So there'll be playoff implications, probably.
Hopefully.
There'll be huge implications.
Hopefully.
I think South Carolina's gonna be in the playoffs.
I would love, if that's the case, I would love to see. I mean, any Carolina fan, they haven't been in the playoffs ever, but I would love to see Carolina get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this to me is
that's gonna be a really good game.
The second coming. You're a Carolina fan. They had a great run. If y'all remember legends like Jadeveon Clowney, Marcus Ladder, that was the last one they went like 10, 11 wins, and Beamer's on that staff. So to me, this is this year to really stamp his legacy as a coach in college football, but definitely Carolina to where Carolina's here to stay. Because was last year a fluke? Obviously, he don't think so, but that's kind of what the world wants to see.
And I think they got better roster-wise. Lenore's coming back another year, high expectations. You said the receivers, offensive line's better, defense is back. Even just us talking national championship expectations, like, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Like, it used to be for South Carolina, a 9-10 win year was enough. Right? Because it's a hard place to win.
Make a bowl game.
Like, he admits it. It's a really hard, especially in this conference. You're playing against the LSUs, the Floridas, the Alabamas with that tradition. And now we're talking national championship, potentially.
Yeah.
And so that just speaks to Coach Beamer's like force of personality just in a few years to turn it around. It's one of the greatest turnarounds we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he did it. He went there and really turned the program around and made everybody believers, including myself, like I said.
Me too.
Hot team.
And Fantasia.
Yeah, shout out to Fantasia. Like we get into all the things. And like I said, he was a great guest to have on, and y'all gonna see like why he's great in recruiting, why guys stay and are loyal to the program, and to me why he's one of the best voices and faces of college football. Like you said, he went to the White House. We get to that. He was a good spokesperson for all college football, but just W Mans. You know
Great
what I'm saying?
dude.
Like
a dude you want to play for.
Yeah, dude you want to play for. So look, we always say if you like it, but we know you're gonna like it. Well, hopefully you do enjoy everything, but show love, like, comment, subscribe, share with somebody you think will love it too. But appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
We love living in South Carolina because you're close to the beach, you're close to the mountains.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can be here and then hop in the car and be, beach or mountains in a couple hours too. So that's great. And then we try and do a little family trip here and there during the summer. But it's just, you know how it is from playing. It's just you're around your players are here all summer. Correct. And I don't want to just disappear for 4 weeks. You want to be present. Yeah, you won't be present. Now, they need a break from us, and we need a break from them. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to, take off for 4 weeks and see you in a month, fellas. So I'm around and present, but also need to be able to get away a little bit too.
How old are the kids now?
16, 15, and 11. Our 11-year-old will be 12 in July.
Yeah, grown-ups.
They are. And 2 girls. So right now I'm between 2 teenage girls and running a college football program.
Right.
That's
a lot right there.
World, man. I'm not sure which one's harder.
You might have given me some advice. My youngest is my oldest is 2.5.
Okay.
Baby girl.
Yep.
I guess my little man just turned 9 months.
That's awesome.
And I heard my girl's sweetheart loves me, but I heard when they get older, it gets.
Yeah. When I was, guess when I was coaching at Virginia Tech with my dad, there was a guy in town. He had 3 daughters, and at that point, my girls were 2008. They were born in 2008 and 2010, so they would have been, 5 years old, I guess. Yeah. And I remember 5 or younger. And I remember having a conversation with this guy about how much I love girls. I'm so glad we had girls this, and at this point, his girls were all teenagers. Yeah. And I remember him telling me, he's like, you say that, you just wait till they're teenagers. And I'm like, but they'll be great. Yeah. And now I get it. Now, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong. Love them to death. But it's thank God for my wife, because there's a lot going on in our house right now for sure.
No doubt. There's a lot going on just in general, South Carolina football transition to the ball. But, Coach, I want to ask you, because you took over a team that won 2 games. Mm-hmm. And now there's, championship expectations, conference and national championship. I've heard in previous, podcasts, you talked about the team didn't have confidence. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's one of the greatest turnarounds in recent history of college football. Really impressive outside looking in. I just want to know, how did you do it?
Appreciate you saying that, for one. Great question. Yeah. I think it was when I first got hired, I came in and met with every player on the team over in my office and just talked to them and got to know them. Why'd you choose South Carolina? Tell me about your family. What are you majoring in? But then I asked them all, why are we a 2-win team? Because the year before I got hired, or right when I got hired, we were a 2-win team. And I listened to those answers and just kind of kept up to date with everything and added it all up and kind of realized what the issues were. But it was pretty obvious. There were issues, but it was a lack of they needed confidence for sure. And I get it. There wasn't a lot of joy back in 2020. Yeah. COVID. Yeah. They won 2 games. The coach they all came to play for got fired. So I understand there wasn't a lot of joy. But I said to myself when I was meeting with them that as long as I'm the head coach here, this program, it's not easy. You're held accountable. It's demanding. It's hard work. Yeah. But I said to myself, as long as I'm the head coach here, I want our players to look forward to coming into this building each and every day. Yeah. And I didn't want them to dread coming in this building. So that was the first thing. Just try and celebrate small victories, make it fun. Everybody talks about family, but really just trying to get to know guys on a personal basis and look forward to coming in the building, and then just trying to continue to find ways to instill confidence. And my first year, we won the first game. That was great. And never forget game 2. We go to East Carolina. We're playing on the road. Yeah. I let people that game that game stands out is one of the ones that stands out to me that nobody talks about because we went up there. They scored on a double pass on the first play of the game.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Threw a little bubble screen out to the receiver. He threw a touchdown pass, and you're like, man.
That was the first play of your
First
head
play of the
coaching
game.
career?
First play of the game.
Oh, my gosh.
And
That's a tough way to
we went
start.
down 14-0. But we battled back.
It was a dogfight.
Right, it was a dogfight. Right before the half, Damani Staley, he works down in our weight room right now. Ball got tipped, pick six right before the half. We score. Long story short, we kick a field goal in the last play of the game to beat them.
Yeah.
And we're 2-0. That was a huge win.
Right.
Because of they had I think it instilled some confidence.
Sure.
You went on the road, you faced adversity, and we dealt with it. So that would be what I would say is just trying to instill confidence, connect with guys on a personal basis, and show that we are who we say we are as coaches. Because I think when a coach comes in or a new coaching staff comes in, everything's great. You're in the honeymoon phase.
Correct.
All of a sudden, adversity hits. I think players are looking at it like, here comes adversity.
Right.
How are they going to be now, man?
Yeah.
And we stayed the same, and we are who we are, and we ended up winning 7 that year, and kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, even on a personal level, like from like obviously the team standpoint, because obviously you're a man, like you are step into a role as this is like an opportunity for yourself to prove who you are. A lot of coaches don't make it to the sweet side. Not to say everything's good now, but it is to a point where like a little pressure might be off. Maybe the seat ain't as hot as it once was. And as a man or just like a leader, what did you do personally, or how did you were able to like persevere through all of it? Because it's tough.
Yeah.
Like I've seen coaches. Man, and obviously you need a little luck along the way. You need some things to go, like the ball to roll your way a couple times.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is something that you did to get the program to this point.
Yeah, I think it's one thing I learned from my dad being a coach all those years is just the steadiness and the consistency that he had as a coach. So I just tried to maintain that consistency because even though there may be all kinds of negativity and turmoil going on, I realize that every day when I walk in this building, all eyes are on me.
Right.
And that's a lot of weight on my shoulders. So for me, it's surrounding myself by great people, with great people, players, coaches, staff. We've got some great young men in our program. We've got a great group of people on the coaching staff, to support one another. And just realizing, my dad used to always say, you don't want to get too high, don't get too low.
Yeah.
And early on, I mean, there were some. 2021, my first season was kind of a crazy year. We won those first 2 games, and then we lost the next 2 to Georgia and Kentucky. And then after that, we never won 2 in a row the rest of the year, and we never lost 2 in a row. It was like win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And there were some ugly losses along the way too. But just being able to just stay consistent. And all right, it's a new week, and last week didn't go our week. Stay consistent, and how was I able to do that? Surrounding myself with great people, by faith and foundation that I have as well. That God's not going to give me too much that I can't, or too much to handle. Right. And then an amazing wife at home to be able to talk to, and then really for me, and it's all seriousness. I just love what I do, and even after those tough losses that we had in my very first season, I couldn't wait to get back in the building, the next day. And knowing that you were doing it with great young men. Like, I never forget. I know you know the Carry-On Joiner. Yeah. And one of my favorite moments of the 2021 season is we went out to Texas A&M and got embarrassed. Yeah. We got hammered. Beat something like 40-6. I think we had like 100 yards of offense, maybe. And I feel like crap. Game ends, as a coach, you talk to the team, and you go do the post-game press conference, and you go do the post-game radio show. Then for me, we tape a TV show
you got to do
as
everything.
well. So it's a grind, and I'm beat down, and it's midnight in College Station, Texas, and all I want to do is get back to Columbia and get back to work and get the heck out of there. And I'll never forget, I was walking with my wife, and we were walking back into the locker room so I could shower and change clothes to get on the bus to go to the airport. And I walked by DK, and I was going to give him one of those, like, dab him up, like, hey, man, keep your head up. And he stopped me, and he looked me right in the eye, and he's like, hey, I want you to know I love you, and we got your back, and we're going to get through this thing. And, for him to say that, I said to myself, you know what? We got great kids, young men, and we're doing right by them. Yeah. Just continue to stay the course. And we came back the next week, and I think we were off that next week, and then we came back and we beat Florida, and then we beat Auburn. Didn't beat Clemson, but then we went to the bowl game.
But you got two straight now.
And beat
so.
North Carolina.
We're going to get to it.
Yeah.
We're going to get to it because I
right.
definitely want to hear it. And like I said, that's going to be a story of its own. One thing I want to say, to me, it is cool because in my experience, like, as a coach, you have to have such like a confidence and aura about yourself to where you see in the young men, like they don't believe, so you almost have to force belief into them.
Yeah.
But there is a humility sometimes I've seen. Even Coach Swing is mighty. Is like I've seen him, and I think top 5 coach potentially all time. But there have been moments where I've seen moments from players that speak life into him, and it's cool like that because sometimes like as a head coach, you also need you're human. You need somebody to speak life into you, and it can be daunting along the journey.
No question. No, you're exactly right. You see these coaches and they're on this pedestal, but to have a player say that to you, and then later on that next week somebody says something very similar to you in the weight room, like you need that, whether it be head coach, assistant coach, life in general, for people to say that. There's no doubt.
That's powerful, and it was evident last year. Like you guys win 9 games, you go 9-3, well, regular season. A lot of people think you should have made the playoffs, myself included. Right? We do the trash talk with the Clemson boys, but I'm just curious, what's your view on the committee, especially last season? Like personally, like if you beat the team that got in and won the ACC championship, you should be in, especially the way you guys finished.
Yeah, I know the committee. My dad was on the committee at one point. I know the committee has a tough job, and everybody, whether it be SMU or Alabama or Ole Miss or whoever, like everybody believed they should have been in and had valid points and all that. My biggest issue was after we beat Clemson, for the chairman of the committee to come out on television that Tuesday night and say that no matter what happens this upcoming weekend in the championship games, that it doesn't matter. Like it's not going to change. If you're not playing, it's not going to change where you're ranked. To me, that's ludicrous. Yeah. And if we're not good enough to get in, if we're not one of the 12 best teams, we're not one of the 12 best teams. But I don't understand how you can responsibly, as the committee chairman, say that. Like why you wouldn't say, and it's part of the protocol in the committee that they're going to, evaluate the whole regular season and postseason and all that as well. Like that's their protocol. So why, as a committee, that you wouldn't say, okay, Clemson just beat SMU. Clemson just won the ACC. Maybe we should take another look at South Carolina.
Yeah. Right.
They beat the ACC champion on their home field.
Right.
Let's reevaluate their resume, their data points, as they like to say. And then if you do that, we're not one of the 12 best teams. Great, I can live with it. But to say that you weren't going to look at us, whoever else, Miami was trying to get in, Ole Miss, Alabama, why you wouldn't sit back after championship weekend and look at the whole body of work, that still baffles me. Yeah. But again, they had a tough job, and at the end of the day, we left it in someone else's hands, and had some tough losses along the way. But proud of the way that we finished the season, and it's a new year.
But the campaign you had, man, you had me convinced. I heard a lot of the Twitter campaign was good. I was like, you know what? As much as I'm glad, by the grace of God, Clemson, we snuck our way back in there.
Yeah.
But I was like, y'all did deserve it. I think that's the word. I thought you guys did deserve it.
Right.
You beat Clemson at home.
Right.
And
strength of schedule too. People don't talk about that.
A lot of kind of talking heads.
SEC.
Yeah, but just y'all were a hot team.
No, we were a hot team, and there were a lot of really good teams last year. And again, they got a tough job, but at the end of the day, don't leave it in somebody else's hands, and take care of business yourself.
What do you think about even the shift? Like when we were coming up, my first year was 2016, 2015. They made it to the national championship. I remember Swinney saying, "Man, you could feel like we thought we belonged, but we didn't know." And I feel like y'all's program, to me, even listen to some of the guys talk, it's like last year, like you expected it, and like the guys believe this. Like some of the guys, this is my last go round, and they made it happen. But the guys now, they really know. Like even when the guys said, "Hey," I was like, asked my schedule. I was like, "Y'all got to play a lot of people." He said, "They come to play us." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, and there hasn't been as much expectation right here like that in a long time.
So true. I think I've completely seen the mindset change in a lot of ways. In that last year at this time, last summer, I knew we were going to be a lot better than people thought because of the seniors and the leadership that we had coming back. We weren't as bad in 2023 as people thought. I mean, people look at it, they went 5-7. There was a lot that went into 5-7, and we weren't that far off from being 7-5.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we brought back so many players off the 23 team into 24. So much leadership. I knew Lenoris was going to be a really good quarterback. Knew he'd be better than what people thought.
Yeah.
And I think our players knew that too. But now there's very much, I think it would be human nature after you have the season that you had last season for everybody to kind of be like, you know, we're good. Yeah, we won 9 last year. And I don't want to say be satisfied, but feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Whereas there's still very much an edge with our team right now that we fell short last year. We want to take things farther in 2025. And there's a confidence. It's almost like there's even a higher standard that they're holding themselves to as players, which is awesome to see, particularly for we got a lot of really talented guys, but we're still young in a lot of ways, especially on defense. So still really, really young, really offensively as well. But to see themselves hold themselves to that standard is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, speaking of Lenoris, man, it's a pleasure, just a fan of quarterback playing college football, to watch him play.
Yeah.
So you played against Cam Newton actually in 2010,
Ooh,
SEC championship.
Golly.
And that's usually the comp that he gets.
Yeah.
And you've also been around some guys at OU, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, some really good quarterbacks. Where do you see him kind of fitting in that mold?
Yeah. I've been around some great ones, whether it be Michael Vick when I was in college.
Oh, I didn't realize Vick.
Mike, we were in school together at the same time. He's a couple of years younger than me, 3 years younger than me, but we were there for 2 years together. And then played against Cam Newton, like you said, Jalen and Kyler at Oklahoma as well. You know, he's got all the ingredients and tangibles, if you will, that a lot of those guys have. He's 240 pounds and can run. He's got a strong arm. He's really improved himself as a passer. He's got all the tools. And as you guys saw talking to him, he's a freaking awesome young man.
The nicest dude.
Oh, my gosh. I
Great
mean,
dude.
just the humility that he has.
Right.
I love that quality, like in any person, but especially a quarterback.
Right.
He's
steady.
The same guy, whether it be the way he played against Clemson or it might be a Saturday morning in the middle of spring practice. He's just the same guy.
Yeah.
And nothing bothers him, and he's so steady. He's still young too, which people forget. I mean, it's only his third year in college as well. Third year in college, second year as a starting quarterback. So he's got so much to improve on. He's got such a huge upside, but he's made of the right stuff and has such a strong character. And, you know, he reminds me of, you know, not to compare, I'm not saying he's Jalen Hurts, but he reminds me of Jalen in a lot of ways, just his personality.
The way he conducts himself.
Jalen was the same way. Jalen is this all the time. When he needed to speak, he needed to speak. The team respected the heck out of him because of his work ethic and the kind of person he is. And you see the same thing with Lenoris as well.
I think it speaks to your recruiting too, finding the guys that fit that culture. Because a lot of guys in that position might be too Hollywood, right? Like he's a great player, obviously, but probably even better person.
Yeah.
I'm curious now with your recruiting philosophy, now even with the transfer portal, sometimes I know you've mentioned you'll have 48 hours to decide if I'm going to bring this guy in, which is crazy because that can make or break your team culture. And you've done such a great job finding smaller school guys. Like Debo Williams from Delaware becomes an all-SEC linebacker, right? And that's not common necessarily to find these smaller school guys that can play so well. Like, what is the secret sauce with finding these guys that maybe are overlooked?
Yeah, great question. You know, you mentioned Debo. My first year here, we had a defensive back by the name of Carlins Platel that came from Division II Assumption College.
Crazy.
That ended up, you know, spending some time in the NFL with the Steelers. And Torricelli Simpkins was an offensive guard for us last year that came from North Carolina Central. And Demetrius Knight was a linebacker, second round pick of the Bengals, came from Charlotte. I wish I just had the answer. It's because you're right. A guy goes in the portal, you got about 48 hours to figure out.
Crazy.
You know, it's almost like a free agent visit in the NFL. Like you bring them in and you're trying to feel them out and they're trying to feel you out as well. But talk to a lot of people as well that have been around that player, coaches, players, staff, you know, at the school they're coming from. They all have a story. I mean, what is their story? How did they end up at this position? And you know, don't get caught up in. I've worked at places like as an assistant coach where you might be talking about a recruit and the head coach would say, "Well, who all's recruiting him?" Well, Georgia, Clemson, South Carolina. All right, well, great. Who's recruiting him? Coach, his biggest offer is whoever. Well, we're not going to, next. I could care less. We don't keep up with it. Couldn't care less. And whether high school recruiting, transfer portal, if we watch the tape and feel like they have the ability to help us win football games, but then they have that chip on their shoulder, and so many of those guys do when they come up from a smaller level. This is their one opportunity, and we've been able to, haven't been exact on all of them, but we've been able to hit on a lot of those guys, and the one common denominator is they're great people, and get a guy in here that's a great person, high character, strong work ethic, and the rest will take care of itself.
On the transfer portal, it's crazy. We'll get into some of the new age, just you're right in the midst of it, and you hopefully got a long career. Some people, might maybe in the back end of coaching career and trying to just get through until it's over. But for you, what is it the transfer portal like as a head coach? And what is your take on it? Because obviously you got some people initially who are obviously super against it. Mm-hmm. Some people abused it. I think you found a good happy medium, use it when you need to, but you also got a lot of guys or dudes on the team that are stars, key players who are homegrown guys.
We always want to start with high school recruiting. It was a little bit more of a challenge for us. So I get hired in December of 2020. COVID's going on. Right. It's a dead period. I can't go out and go recruit anybody. When I got hired, I think this signing class had 11 guys in it. And I couldn't go see them. It was literally hopping on a Zoom and being like, hey, I'm Shane Beamer, I'm the new head coach. Please sign with us next week. You don't know me, but please sign. And a lot of them did. But then we had to rely on the portal a lot that first year. And then really, my first season, you can have 85 guys on scholarship. I think we went into year one with, I want to say 79 guys on scholarship. So our depth just wasn't where it needed to be. So we had to rely on the portal. And let's be honest, in South Carolina, this isn't a big state. And this isn't Texas, California, Florida, where you've got hundreds of Power 4 players coming out every year. It's not. So you've got to be able to keep the best in South Carolina, but you're battling Clemson, Georgia, everybody else for those guys. So we've got to be able to do our part in high school recruiting, trying to keep the best players at home. We always want to start in high school recruiting inside South Carolina and outside South Carolina, but then being able to go out and utilize the portal. But as we continue to build the depth in this program and be successful in high school recruiting, the less and less we'll have to rely on the portal, where you want to be able to just utilize it where there's a position of immediate need, and you've got to get somebody in here. For us, for example, off last year's team, we lost our starting center and both offensive guards. We lost our top 4 defensive tackles. We lost our top 3 linebackers. They all graduated. So we need to be able – we've got talented guys at those positions, but you better get some experience in there as well, and that's what we really went in there to do. Here's specific positions that we want to target, not necessarily we don't have enough guys on scholarship. We just got to go sign some guys out of the portal. So, we're always going to rely on it, and I'm a fan of it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, because we've benefited from it. But I also hate when somebody leaves our program to go somewhere else, if it's not for any reason, whether it's to go down a level and play a little bit more or whatever else. So we've been affected by the portal positively and negatively, but it's a good thing, and just making sure that you're bringing the right people into your program.
On the negative side, I'm just curious, and obviously no name dropping, but you talk to any guys in college football, a lot of stories of tampering and guys, maybe a guy that could stay and develop would just get a more shinier opportunity, think the grass is greener. How have you handled – it happens everywhere. How have you handled that?
Not well. not well.
Is it common?
Is it what?
Is it common?
No. No, I think every situation's different. Every year is different. The hardest time for me was after the 23 season when we didn't have the year that we wanted, and there's a lot of uncertainty. Man, Xavier Leggette's leaving your program. Spencer Rattler's graduating. you just went 5-7. There's negativity around you, and you have to overcome that.
Right.
And we did lose some guys in the portal that year that were, surprises or were public, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I don't handle it well. And I say that because I truly want every player that comes into our program to have a great experience.
Yeah.
And I truly love every player in our team. And it hurts me when a guy leaves.
Yeah.
We had players that left our program that my son adored and had their jersey. And they left. And some left for reasons, I get it, wanted to get closer to home and whatever else. But then there's other guys that left for
A bigger bag.
the wrong reasons as well. And that, I don't like that. But at the same time, I don't handle it well. I can remember right before Christmas in 2023, took my wife and kids. We went to New York City just for like 3 days right before Christmas. It's been a tough year. Let's just get the heck out of town for like 3 days. And while I'm in New York City, literally like 2 days before Christmas, within an hour, I got two guys calling me telling me they're entering the portal. And I'm in a hotel room in New York City. And that's not good. And then
can't even enjoy your trip.
And then after Christmas, we get a little 3-day break and we go somewhere in Florida to get some warm weather. And my wife laughs. There was one player, he's no longer part of our program, but one player within like a 48-hour span called to tell me he was leaving, staying, leaving, staying, leaving.
No way. Like 6 times back and forth?
And it's all because of
NIL.
External factors
Correct.
as well. So I don't handle it well, but I've learned and I've gotten better at it that it hurts because I don't want a guy to leave.
Yeah, you care.
But because I care. But it's also, okay, so he's leaving. It is what it is. Now we get an opportunity to try and bring somebody even better in, on and off the field. And no hard feelings, wish them well, all that as well. But it's one of those I now have an obligation to the team to bring in someone else as well. So let's get busy on that and not sit around and feel sorry for ourselves because somebody left. But it's we didn't have any of those conversations or any of those issues after this past season because of the standard. Guys want to be hard and all that as well. So every year's different, but to me it starts just bring the right guys into the program that are here for the right reasons and then make this a place. Like you hear people talk about how you got to re-recruit your roster every year. I don't look at it that way. We are who we are. We're going to I don't coach any differently than what I did 10 years ago. And just make this a program that guys want to be a part of.
And from a macro perspective, the state of college football with NIL, touching on what you were saying, some of the downsides of it. You went to Capitol Hill, spoke to Congress about different things where you think you can be better. For instance, if you were made commissioner of the NCAA or czar of college football, what should be the framework for college football?
I would start just the recruiting calendar, kind of trying to get that where it's best for everyone involved, as far as, when you're taking visits and when the portal's open, when the portal's not open. So you get the calendar resolved and for everyone, best for everybody.
So you're saying taking the spring period out, or like what would you change in the
I
calendar?
would be in favor of just one portal window and it's in January.
So January.
Season ends in December and you got 10 days in January. There'll be 2 or 3 4 teams that'll still be playing during that time. Right. It is what it is. But I'd love to be able to have just one portal window in January. Because the tough thing, and I get it, there's a lot of guys that are in favor of a spring window too. Yeah. It's just a challenge for me as a coach. It's all in the team building. I don't really know who my team is going to be until the middle of May.
Yeah, that's really late in the process.
Because guys, like realistically, your entire team could walk in your office after spring practice and leave if they wanted to, and that's tough. So whatever that looks like, get the calendar a little bit more structured. And then the biggest thing when I went to D.C. and testified before Congress, it was just saying that, we're not anti-portal. We're not anti-NIL. Yeah. We're here for the players. I think it's great that our players are able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness and get money. I think it's awesome. But it's a challenge right now when the NCAA or whoever will set rules for everyone to follow, and all of us coaches and athletic directors and athletic departments were in agreement that this is a good thing. But then within a week, an individual state, maybe outside the SEC or AC, they'll go just enact their own state law to circumvent and get around the whole rule. And until that stops, you're just continuing to kick the can down the road, and it's never going to get, resolved. So that's the biggest thing. It's just when you talk about, federal legislation, whatever you might say, it's more just to be able to, keep that from happening where whatever state out west or whatever state out north, they just make their own state law that overrides this NCAA thing that 99% of the schools are in favor of.
And what are they doing that's different, that's maybe giving them an advantage?
Other states?
Yeah.
I mean, I think every state's been not just the ones, out west, but I think
creative. Yeah,
just different ways to, get around NIL laws or recruiting rules or whatever it might be. And South Carolina's done things in the past and all that as well. So I'm not sitting here saying that we're any different, but just something that
keeping it standard for everyone,
standardized nationally.
Okay.
Yep.
And how about rev share model? Like, I know you're a proponent of that, and within the idea that it evens the playing field, right? But we were having this conversation on the drive over. I feel like it doesn't really make a difference because you're still going to get teams trying to find that competitive advantage outside of the $20 million that's allocated. Obviously, you know more about it just being in it. Can you kind of educate me on how it's going to change your program moving forward?
Yeah, it does level the playing field because everybody's under this $20.5 million, every school in the country that opts into it. And then, if you go over that $20 million cap or whatever your cap is as a football team, if you go over that number, there's penalties and there needs to be some teeth to those penalties.
Correct.
So people are not going to break the rule just knowing that they're going to get a slap on the wrist. There needs to be a teeth to those penalties. I think all coaches are in agreement on that. And then we're not trying to take away anyone's opportunity to earn real NIL, outside of that marketing as well. Yep, exactly. So Lenore Sellers or Mazio Bennett or whoever should be able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness if there's a great thing. And that's what I sell here in South Carolina. I mean, we're not, this, like there's no pro sports in South Carolina. We don't have, we're not in Florida where you got the Miami Dolphins and the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins and the Florida Panthers and the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic. You don't have that in South Carolina.
Right.
So that's what's a great thing for the players here at this university is, capital's right over there. Yeah. And there's so many opportunities for companies, for our student athletes, not just football, but all of our student athletes. I mean, we got a statue in front of our basketball arena of Asia Wilson, a women's basketball player, and what she did here. So there's so many opportunities for our players. They should be able to capitalize on their name, image, and likeness because there's a lot of people in this town that want to work with our players. But what they're going to have is a clearinghouse that will review every deal to see in their mind if it's legitimate or not.
Yeah, I was a little jealous. My last year was the first year the rule got passed.
Yeah.
The spring, the collectives form. So I did well. I did good. Like things got into media space and
he did more than well.
Was able to capitalize.
No doubt.
Legitimately. But then I come back the next spring and they formed the collectives and these guys were getting with their and it was less then than it was now.
Yeah.
And so, but it is interesting to see really the shift of college football. As a guy who's been in college football for a while, you've seen a lot of guys come through. What wisdom are you telling the guys? Because guys are going to have to, they want to splurge a little bit. This is because it's not, you hear some of the guys, they'll say, man, this money don't mean anything. I'm waiting till I get to that second contract. And I'm like, hey, brother, I'm with you. Let's lock in and chase your dreams. But the money you're getting is what a kid here leaving with his master's degree will have to work 5-10 years in a Fortune 500 company to touch. And he's living great with a family. It's like the perspective.
Yeah.
So for you, just how do you talk to the guys? What's your take on just these guys getting real money now?
Yeah, it's ongoing and it's every day. It's making good decisions. I think there's a couple things. They all want to play in the NFL, and I hope they all get the opportunity to play in the NFL, and understanding that, the guys that are probably making the most at most schools, they are going to play in the NFL.
Right.
And I think it's really emphasizing to them that this is great money, but it's short term compared to what you could make at the next level going to have a long career in the NFL. And that probably comes up more from a recruiting standpoint when you see these, there's guys that getting offered a lot of places to go somewhere for a lot of money. Right. Okay, that's great, but are you choosing the school for that, or are you choosing the school for what? You tell me you want to be developed. Yeah. Are you really going somewhere to be developed? Because that's what's going to get you drafted. That's what's going to get you paid in the NFL. That's what's going to get you a second contract in the NFL, is coming out of a program where you've been developed and all that as well. So having those conversations, particularly when they're young. And then I think as they get older, just, helping them manage their money and doing financial planning and having someone come in and talk about, here's where this money goes. And you got it pretty good right now in college because so much of this is taken care of for you. Well, when you get out in the real world, I'm hearing this from like our players that just got drafted. Some of them are texting me. They've been in an NFL team for a couple months, and they're already hitting me up like, "Man, I miss college, coach." I didn't realize
college football's the best.
I didn't realize how good we had it, and here they are. They're making great money in the NFL, but they're having those thoughts. Like it's they realize it's different and it's a business, and when they're here in college, making sure they're making great decisions with that money, short term and long term.
Yeah, it's more of
I want to ask you, because you are obviously living it. How do you? Because people here, like you said, it might be a 5-star kid or a big time recruit you want to get, and a program may offer him what a starter would be getting at another school, and maybe it's bad business, maybe it's not. But how do you budget, legitimately with the players? How are you budgeting? Then is it? Now you got negotiations and all these things. How involved as a coach are you in that? Or is there a general manager now?
Yeah, no, great question. Early on when all this started, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to kind of just bury my head in the sand. Yeah. And it was I don't want to know. Yeah. I don't care what anybody's making. Just don't screw up the locker room dynamic downstairs. Right. And honest to God, I knew in 2023, I think I knew what one person on our team was making. Yeah. That was Spencer Rattler. Right. And that was it. And then after that, I said, you know what, Shane, that's a cop out. You're the head coach. You're responsible for everything that goes on in this program. Yeah. Am I having every conversation with agents and people like that? No. Do we have a general manager by title? Not necessarily. Do we have someone that's having the bulk of those conversations with families and agents? Yes, but so am I. Yeah. And particularly with the players once they get into our program as well. And I want them to be able to have those conversations with me. I mean, go back to the portal that we had in December and January. I mean, I'm glad that there were players on our team that came in my office. They shut the door and we talked. Yeah. Here's what you're getting and why. And you're upset about this, but I understand. Here's where I'm coming from. Or, coach, I don't want to go anywhere. I love it here, but so-and-so has reached out to me and they're offering this and all that. So I love as a coach that they're willing to have those conversations with me. And, trust is a core value of this program, and we're going to be able to talk freely, back and forth. Yeah. We're in regards to the specifics of the budgeting. I think we, like a lot of teams, have probably taken the model of a lot of NFL teams that, okay, if this is your cap, this is what's going to be allotted to the offensive line. Correct. Right. This is what's going to be allotted to the defensive backs. Yeah. This corner, here's what's allotted. But it's tough in college because NFL, they're under contract. Correct. Our roster is just all the time because of the portal. May leave early for the NFL draft. Right. So we're already sitting here looking at 2026, not just NIL and rev share, but scholarships. Yeah. And, you're projecting this guy, okay, he'll be back. This guy could potentially leave, all that. So it's ongoing, and you've got to be – I wasn't very good at math, so I don't get too much too into the nuts and bolts. Right. But it's there's a lot that is just a complete new dynamic for all of us in college athletics now.
Darren and I, on the way here, were having this debate. What we'd be willing to sacrifice as players for a national championship. So it was like, hey, would you take off a pinky toe? Would it be a thumb? Right? Something crazy. Now, as the head coach here, winning national championship in the SEC, obviously huge deal. You've worked your entire life for it. Would you give up a thumb for a national championship?
A thumb? I think I got to say yes. I'm on camera. And if I say no, they're going to be like, this guy's not committed.
The thing is, how far? What do you need? To get that, you got to think, okay, what do I really need? Could you go armless?
It'd be
full
hard to
arm?
go armless or armless.
As long as you can. So we go. What about one arm?
Oh man. I think to answer your question, to win a championship, yes. But immediately I think about I love to play golf, and I'm just thinking about my golf swing and what I
Right.
could do without. You know, so could we go like pinky toe?
Pinky
Fair,
toe's
fair,
easy. You don't need a
fair,
pinky toe.
fair.
Yeah.
What's your handicap?
Not as good as it needs to be as well.
It'll be worse without the toes too. I mean, Dion's got like 7. You'll be all right.
There you go. I hit it decent, but I don't get to play enough to be as good as I want to be.
I want to talk a couple more happy moments before we get you out of here.
Yep.
The first game, we're good now, but you did something bad to me. The first game I bring my kids to Clemson.
All right.
First game I was like, let's go back to a game, guys. Was the Clemson-Carolina game.
Carolina Clemson.
And so I bring them back to the game.
This year?
This year. Having a great time, you know. My little girls running around, meeting everybody. It's great. Somebody invites them to the box. I'm having a great time.
Yep.
I leave in the third quarter. And I was like, oh, man. I see everybody. Everything was good. Let's beat the traffic. I'm on the highway, and I'm like, oh, my gosh. As the head coach, I love, and the guy from the state, I love when the rivalry is competitive.
Yep.
Because there was a long drought for a long time. Honestly, both ways. There's Carolina had like a 5-year run. We went on the 7-year run, and now it's 2-2. And kudos to you. What does that rivalry mean to you?
Yeah, I love it. It's because it's so important to this state.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. Kind of what I said a minute ago about no pro sports in South Carolina.
Yeah.
You know this. I mean, it's that rivalry. Yeah. And I think what's unique, like I've been a part of Florida, Georgia, Virginia Tech, Virginia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Texas. Been a part of some great rivalries. But what's so cool about this one is it's every sport.
Yeah. No, they get rowdy.
I mean, volleyball, softball, baseball, basketball. I mean, it is a big deal in every sport. So when both teams are good, I think it's fantastic. I really do. And it's I got a lot of respect for Coach Sweeney and his program. And I think it's great for the state of South Carolina that so many eyes are on this rivalry now. I thought it was awesome last year that we play that game. The entire country's watching.
Everybody.
TV ratings are sky high. You think that the winner is going to be in the college football playoff.
Right.
That the game had meaning. And that's what I wish it was every year, that every game when we play or every year when we play, it has meaning. But I love it because of how important it is to the state. And, I'm blessed to be a part of it. And it's a special day. There's nothing. That's what makes college athletics so awesome. And there's nothing like beating your rival.
Correct.
There's no question.
How'd you shift the belief?
How do I shift it?
How did you shift it? Because, I mean, it became, like I said, almost people thought it was routine. Like, both ways. There's a point where, like, man, Clemson's going to be great. We're just never going to be Carolina.
Yeah.
And then it went from a point where it's just like, Carolina can do everything good, but they're not going to be Clemson.
Yeah.
But then to get that first one, and you got both of them on the road, too, which is also hats off. Like, what did you – internally, what did you feel? How did you were able to overcome it?
Well, I got to figure out how to do it at home now because I haven't been able to do it in Columbia, so I got to figure that out as well. Great question. I think maybe my first year when we got hammered out there, my first year, I mean, it was awful. And I feel like I maybe made it too big. And I think it's already a big deal.
Correct.
They don't need me telling them how big it is.
Yeah.
And they don't need me doing things differently. And not that I necessarily did, but we probably talked more about it that week than we had other games, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I probably almost had us like 2 ready to go, and then we went out and played like crap. And not that we don't make a big deal out of it, because we do, but our players know. Yeah. Clemson's guys know what a big deal it is. And I don't know if it was anything I think the 2022 when we went up there, you remember the week before we beat Tennessee. And the week before that, we got embarrassed by Florida down in Gainesville. And I told them in the locker room after the Florida game that this game's over, it's behind us, but we got 2 games coming up because I think Tennessee was ranked like number 5 in the country and Clemson I think was number 6. Yeah. I said, we got 2 weeks coming up in a row where no matter what has happened at this point, we can completely change the entire trajectory of this program in 2 weeks by playing back-to-back top 6 teams. Yeah. And forget about whatever's happened to this point, what we could do the next couple weeks. And then we went out, we played great against against Tennessee the next week. And then 7 days later is when we went up there to Clemson. And I think we just had that confidence from beating Tennessee the week before. And then we go out on the first drive and we freaking throw stick and Trotter. Josiah Trotter picks it off and it's a pick six for a touchdown. I'm like, ah, dang. Yeah. And then we go down 14-0 again, but proud of the guys because they battled back. But I think it was more than just we're good enough to beat Clemson. It was just what had happened the week before, but it goes all the way back to the offseason and the weight room and being able to deal with adversity and
what's culture defining.
Absolutely.
Those moments.
No question.
Like,
no question.
For sure. In-state, out-of-state, like to win a rivalry game against a powerhouse.
Yeah.
It puts you in that conversation, gives you that belief.
No question.
On that same note, just I feel like y'all are kindred spirits. And I think some people say it's like a jab or whatever, but I genuinely mean it. Like I've been around him for a long time and then seeing guys come through this program and see you and like he's one of the best to ever do it. I do think y'all are similar as far as like some of the philosophy.
Talking about Coach Sweeney now?
Coach Sweeney. As far as like family-oriented, passion, players coach, having fun. That's a big thing with us was like having a great experience in college.
Yeah.
Like on the field, off the field, win some games, but at the same time, I want you guys to leave, like listen to guys like brothers, family. What have you learned from him? And for people who don't know, what's y'all's relationship?
Great.
Yeah.
I've got so much respect for him because like him or not, like him, hate him, he is who he is.
Correct.
And he don't care.
Yeah.
And I've got great respect for that, you know, that he is who he is. And we were friends. So going back in the day, you didn't have coaching staffs like you have now. So you had every coach on your staff, you had 9 assistant coaches back then, and somebody was the recruiting coordinator.
Yeah.
So you didn't have like these huge recruiting departments. You basically had an assistant coach that was in charge of all recruiting. Well, that was me for South Carolina when I was an assistant, and it was Dabo when he was at Clemson. Wow. So we kind of got to know each other then, and I laugh and I tell the story. The ACC men's basketball tournament was in Charlotte one year, and my dad was the head coach at Virginia Tech, and he got tickets through his job, and I'll never forget Virginia Tech lost, and Dabo reaching out to me about, hey, man, is there any way you can get me tickets to the tournament through your dad? I'm like, yeah, he's not using his tickets. Tech just lost. Where can I meet you? You coming tomorrow? Yeah. So I met him. I think it was him and Kathleen, and we met in like some parking lot in Charlotte and just exchanged tickets in the parking lot. Yeah. Now he's, he don't lack for tickets to basketball games.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right.
Yep. But we just, we always have kept in touch. One of the guys that has had as much of an impact on my career as any person I've been around is Woody McCorvey. Legend. Behind the scenes. And so I'm an assistant coach at Tennessee in 2003. And at this point, I've been a graduate assistant for 4 years. Yeah. And you can only be a GA for like 3 years.
Yeah,
I'm
done.
Now you're gonna get out of there.
I gotta have a job.
Right.
And that was the year. It was November 2003. Sylvester Croom got hired at Mississippi State, first African American coach in the Southeastern Conference. Wow. He and Woody were tight. Woody was coaching running backs at Tennessee. I was a graduate assistant there at the time, and Coach Croom was going to hire Woody to be the offensive coordinator. And Woody came to me and he said, hey, Sylvester Croom's getting this Mississippi State job. He told me I can bring somebody. I'm bringing you. Get ready. And he got me in the door. He got me my first full-time job. So knowing how I feel about Woody, but also knowing how Woody feels about Dabo, says to me, you know what, like kindred spirits, whatever, we're a lot alike. And that's a compliment. And he's been helpful to me. I mean, when I got hired here as the head coach, when you guys are getting ready to play Virginia Tech back in 2020.
Yes.
And I'll never forget him calling me. It was like a Wednesday afternoon before y'all had practice. Yep. And he was just calling me, hey, I hear your name. I hope you get it. If I can help in any way, whatever. After I got the job, he reached out a couple times. And it's tough. I mean, I'm not calling him once a week for advice.
You got to play it cool.
Because we're rivals. But I've reached out to him and vice versa, throughout my time here as well. So there's respect for one another. There's great competition. I respect how he does things. He's passionate about what he does. He's a family guy. My wife, Emily, loves Kathleen. I think Kathleen loves Emily. I mean, they're friends. And I just think a lot of him. He's a competitor. He wants to beat my brains.
I know. That's what I like about it. Y'all both are fierce. You know, like it's spicy, but then you can tip your hat.
No doubt. He beat us up. out here 2 years in a row, and there's great respect after the game. And when we've been able to go up to Clemson and win, there was great respect. And I appreciate the comments he made towards me when we shook hands at midfield, and vice versa as well. So a lot of respect for one another, and he's been very supportive of me. And he said it, like, you don't have to, he's like, we're rivals. He's like, I don't have to hate Shane because he's the head coach at South Carolina. And you know, if we've had an issue, I mean, I've reached out. We talked this season about planting flags at midfield after games.
Oh,
and
nice.
we've talked about some recruiting things that have come up with players or coaches and whatnot. So I've got no problem picking up the phone and talked to him about 3 weeks ago when he was coming back from vacation in Florida and was counting down the days to when he was able to go back down there as well. So
before
it's a good
we wrap
relationship.
Before we wrap it up, it's very clear that this is a really special place. Columbia, we've only been here like half a day, but I'm like, I could feel the vibe. Everyone's talking about the culture.
It's not too bad.
It's incredible. I mean, shoot, I want to go back to college and commit. But I've heard you talk a little bit before when you weren't here, with your previous stops, you were doing interviews, and you kind of always had in the back of your head, I hope this helps me get back to Columbia, because you were here during, the early 2000s. And this was always the place that you wanted to bring your family back. Just wanted to ask why here, and also how you view this job in the landscape of college football. Because a lot of people maybe wouldn't think this was their dream job because it's hard to win. You're in the SEC. It's hard to recruit necessarily in South Carolina, right? Usually like UT Austin, you want to be somewhere like that, or Florida, or USC in LA. So why here, and kind of speak to maybe those challenges that exist?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So I get hired at Mississippi State, like I just said. I go to Starkville. Coach McCorvey not only got my foot in the door in college athletics, he led me to Starkville, where I met my wife. And she's from Starkville, Mississippi, born and raised, and had never lived outside of Starkville, Mississippi. So then in February, we get married in June of 2006. Got our, as we tape this, we got our 19-year wedding anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, congrats.
As
I was
well.
about to say, tonight I had to get you up here.
And we get married in June of 2006. And then in February of 2007, Steve Spurrier hires me to come here as an assistant coach. And we move and leave Starkville. So that's big. Like, you get married, but the town that your wife is, it's all she knows. And I'm moving her from Starkville to Columbia, South Carolina. So that was a big move for us, but it's special because it was the first place we ever lived away from her family and hometown. Came here. We've got 3 children, but 2 of them were born here in Columbia. State of South Carolina is an awesome place to be. We're right in the middle of it. You're close to Charlotte. You're close to the beach. You're close to the mountains. It's just a great state to live in to begin with. And then obviously there's the personal aspect of it. We love living in Columbia. I had great friends here. Children, 2 of the 3 children were born here. So there were a lot of sentimental, personal reasons that I love this place. And that's great and all, but if you have a dream job and you can't win there, you ain't gonna be there very long.
Right.
But I knew that we could. I had seen it when I was here with Coach Spurrier. We had 4 straight seasons or 3 straight seasons of like top 10 finishes. My last year here was 2010. We beat Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson, and Alabama when they were number 1 in the country. We beat them all in the same season. Played for the SEC championship. You mentioned Cam Newton. That was the year we played Cam Newton twice, unfortunately. But I saw that you could win. And then I knew how this place had changed since I left. So I left after the 2010 season. And like this building we're in right now, like none of this was here in 2010. And they built this facility, and we had administrative support. We got an unbelievable fan base. We're in a recruiting base. So you had all the things that you needed to be successful. It hadn't been done yet. And that's what motivates me and challenges me, is doing something that hasn't been done. And we've been knocking on the door, and we've come close in the past, but we haven't been able to quite get over the hump. But I ask recruits all the time, like, y'all go all kinds of places. Is there anything that we don't have here that we need to win at the highest level? And I haven't figured it out yet. Do we have a gazillion national championships like some schools do in the tradition? No, but you know what? We can be the first to do something, which is pretty cool as well. And don't get me wrong, it's a challenge. We're in the SEC. We play an in-state rival every year that's one of the top programs in all of college football. So right away, I mean, you're playing 9 games a year against the best teams in the country. So is it an easy job? No, but it's a challenge, and we've got great people here and have everything that we need to be successful.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you something just because I feel like they're the unsung heroes of college football. Because when I was at Clemson, Miss Kathleen used to make us donuts. She had this like special bread pudding she used to make. It just kind of like put all of us at ease. Mm-hmm. She was like everybody's mom when our moms were away. Yeah. Really just speak to one, finding a good wife and the power of that. I'm sure that aligns with your faith. But I'm just curious, like, what has she meant to you in your football journey? Because I know you've had coaches speaking to you, but I've seen Miss Kathleen be there for Coach Sweeney. Like in these moments where it may not be the coolest job to be the head football coach, you know? And just talk about that journey.
No, it's a lot. It's I appreciate you bringing that up. I'm married to a special one, and it takes a special one without a doubt, because she sees you at the highest of highs, but she's the one that sees you at the lowest of lows as well. And not only, you lose a tough game, and like I said, everybody in this building is looking to me. That's a lot. Yeah. And you want to be able to go home, and if you need to vent and get things off your chest, she's the person that I'm talking to. And not only that, but there's a lot of sacrifices time-wise that I have to make because of my job, whether it be recruiting, fundraising, coaching, whatever it may be. Yeah. And she's the one that's home with the kids a lot. And I'm a family guy, and I don't want to miss kids' activities, but there's a lot going on that she does to allow me to do what I love to do. And not just her, but we've got some amazing wives within our program and our entire coaching staff. Yeah. But no, she's a rock star, and my mom tells the story. I was coaching at Mississippi State. I guess we were engaged, and lost. My parents came in. My mom came in town for a game and lost. I think it was LSU. And we came back over to my house in Starkville. We weren't married yet, but she tells the story about how my wife came over that night, and just she and I, like, over in the room by ourselves, just kind of talking. My mom was like, she was the one. Like, I just knew the way that she was there for him after a loss to LSU, that there was something special about her, and she's exactly right. But no, she's been on this journey with me, and not just here at South Carolina, obviously, but everywhere. So from Mississippi State to South Carolina to Virginia Tech to Georgia to Oklahoma, and has allowed me to, chase my dreams. And she's definitely, my wife, but best friend as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's the most important decision you'll probably make, right? It's the person that you have in conversation with every day. I mean, you two are married. I'm single. Yeah. What kind of, just as a offshoot of that, what kind of advice would you have for finding your wife?
Oh, yeah, come on, people love advice. Come on, give it to us.
What do I need to do, Coach?
Man, that's a great question. I think it's just God's got a plan, and when it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. I mean that. I mean, I was a graduate assistant at Tennessee. And I remember thinking, all right, man, this is awesome that Coach McCorvey just gave me this job, but ain't no way I'm going to find a wife in Starkville. Right. I knew it because, not that I love Starkville, but it's a small college town. Right. And I didn't know how many non-co-eds there were going to be in Starkville as well. And
it worked out.
And it worked out, and it just, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. So I wish I had more for you than that, but just when you know, and don't press it. Don't force the issue.
Maybe I'll find her today in Columbia, South Carolina.
Maybe. It's a great town. Yeah. Weather's good today.
Go ahead.
I think you're in a good spot.
Not 5 points. Last couple, because never respect your time, but man, I enjoyed the conversation.
Absolutely.
We're going to do a quick rapid fire after 1 or 2 more questions. Okay. I wanted to ask you, really, the coaching journey. Because when people get into it, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. People see you here now. Yeah. I got friends that get into coaching, and you got to, more than likely, you got to climb the ladder. Mm-hmm. How have you kept yourself in it? Yeah. Because to get to this point, sometimes it's not just about getting here, but how you get here. Yeah. And I think sometimes people can use the term sell their soul, but more so maybe forfeit some things they probably wish they wouldn't have forfeited along the way, but it seems like you stayed intact.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's a journey, and it was hard. There were a lot of disappointments. Yeah. Before Coach McCorvey and Sylvester Kroom offered me a job at Mississippi State. it's 4 years of being a graduate assistant. There were a lot of assistant coaching jobs that I tried to get, and you're dealing with the disappointment of that. I can remember I was a graduate assistant at Tennessee. This would have been either 2000. think it would have been after the 2002 season, either 2002 or 2003. And this could be either 2000, I think it was 2002. I can remember being back home in Blacksburg, Virginia. And I really thought I had a chance to get hired as an assistant coach at East Carolina. And I'll never forget the coach calling me. I'm in my bedroom in Blacksburg, and I've got to leave that afternoon to drive to Atlanta because I'm at Tennessee and we're playing in the Peach Bowl, maybe against Clemson. It was either Clemson or Maryland. And I'll never forget the coach at East Carolina calling me and telling me that he wasn't going to hire me, and I was crushed because I really wanted it. And I'm like, man, there were a lot of natural ties, and I remember getting in the car and driving to Atlanta for the bowl game, and I was just devastated. And knowing that things are going to work out when they're supposed to work out, and it's cliche, but it's true. It's do the best job in the job you're in. And I had a guy tell me one time, like, every day is a job interview. That realizing that every day there's people in the building that are watching how you go about your business and thinking about, do I want to hire this guy? There's people in our building that I watch every day, and I say, you know, that person, he or she is somebody that I think got something special about them that I want to keep around this program, and do the best job in the job you're in. But yeah, it is a journey, and I was fortunate that really every job that I took because I wanted to, not because I had to. Other than when my dad retired at Virginia Tech and the new coach came in, he wasn't going to keep me. So that was the first time that I did not have a job and I had to go find something. And that was tough. And I had an amazing wife that was there for me. And that was I think my dad announced his retirement like Halloween weekend. And it was the end of December before Kirby Smart offered me a job at the University of Georgia as an assistant coach. And that was tough, but just continuing to work really hard, treat people the right way, do a good job in the job you're in, and you know, no job's too small, and be able to handle, you know, getting told no. And before I got this job, I mean, there were other head coaching jobs that I interviewed for that I didn't get, and really being able to take a step back and say, okay, why didn't I get it? Where do I need to improve? How could I be better? All right, you weren't very good in the job interview when you said this or did this, and always kind of preparing for the next opportunity, where when this one came along, I was so prepared and ready because of the experiences that I had been through up to that point, whether it be positions that I held or other interviews that I've been on.
This will probably be my last question, but what is something about Shane Beamer that people get wrong or don't understand about you?
Ooh. Get wrong. I don't know, because I'm not even sure what the perception of me is that's wrong.
Who you are behind the scenes, I guess. Maybe like uncovering, you know, Shane, like your motivations, maybe.
Certainly love my family, and I'm a family guy. I think that shows. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. Passionate, love what I do, high energy, positive mindset. I don't think that's any surprise. I don't know. Most fan bases probably don't like me. I mean, that's just natural.
Really? I think you're probably the most likable.
I think there's some fan bases that don't.
Really? Like what?
I think I'm a good guy. I don't know.
Which team do you think would least like you outside of Clemson?
I take it as a compliment when Clemson fans like say, "Hey, we hate South Carolina, but we like you."
You didn't want to sell us over now.
I take that. I think there's a handful from talking to Tennessee buddies, Tennessee people that don't like me because of, you know, the 2022 game out there. But I just think that's natural.
Right.
They don't like the coach of the opposing team.
That's fair.
So I don't know. I love history. I don't know if people would know.
Oh, really? What kind of history?
Just American history.
Oh, okay.
Civil War,
like Civil War stuff.
Love it. Yeah, my son's getting into that stuff right now, and so that's probably one thing.
That's neat. History nerd.
My family, history nerd for sure. Yeah, I love. Definitely a history nerd.
Any books or podcasts you like?
Love reading. I read a ton as well. Really, not a huge, other than listening to you guys, not a huge like podcast or any of that stuff. Right. But love to read. Love history. Love to play golf. I don't get to play as much as I should, but really, you know, I look forward to being in this building each day, and those are kind of my hobbies.
Yeah. All right, last will be quick. Just give us what you got on them. Heard you're a big Fantasia fan. Tell us where does the passion come from, and just tell us about that story.
I'm a fan of one Fantasia song that went viral. So we play music at practice at certain times of practice. We don't play it the whole practice, but usually about the first third of practice, we'll play music out there just to kind of create some energy and get guys moving. And this started in 2023. Every once in a while, Fantasia, When I See You, would play at practice. And it's a cool little song, nice little jingle and all that as well. But whenever it would come on, I would see our players and like the reaction they had to it. Yeah. They would sing it. Some would be, depending on what was going on at that moment, be dancing a little bit. Yeah. And I'm like, man, they really like this song. Yeah. And it was something to it. So then would hear it, I don't know, every couple of weeks. It would be part of the playlist at practice. Yeah. And then I'd start listening to the words and I was like, huh. So I've never told anybody this. I was going to do it after the Clemson game in 2023 if we had won.
Okay.
And we didn't. So I wasn't able to. I had it all prepped because that was like my wife's birthday month. Yeah. And had it all ready to go. So I'm like, well, that backfired on me as well. But then I don't know how this year after we beat A&M, I had just been hearing the song and knew the words, and it was my wife's birthday weekend. So I'm like, this would be pretty cool. You know, she's always in the locker room with the other families after games and, you know, bring her up and to me, and then sang to her, Fantasia, When I See You. Had quite a little performance as well.
Not too shabby.
I did okay. But it goes to show the culture in our program, the way the players have my back.
Yeah, for sure.
They definitely had my back because if they had not if they hadn't had my back like they did, it could have gone like horribly wrong.
Could have been tough. Yeah.
But no, like Fantasia, she was here recently for a concert in Columbia.
Oh, no
as
way.
well. I wasn't able to get to it. I wish I was not able to, but I know it was great having her in town, and she was super sweet. After all that went viral, she sent a video to the team. She sent flowers to the coaching staff.
That's cool.
And just said how awesome it was what we did, and that she's a fan.
Man of people. Now I need you to break some hearts. Okay. You gotta. You're coach now. Make the decision. I need you to give me South Carolina football. Yep. Mount Rushmore.
Ooh,
all time.
Man.
Top four.
Top four.
Jeez. I'm gonna go back. I gotta say this because he's my neighbor. I don't have to, but I'm gonna say he's my neighbor. You may not even know this. So South Carolina won the ACC championship, 1969.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea.
And they were in the ACC and then left. It's a long story, but they left the ACC. But when they were in the ACC, they won the ACC championship. And the quarterback of that team was Tommy Suggs. He's my neighbor here in Columbia, lives down the street.
Yeah, you got
successful in everything that he does. A great quarterback. He's been doing radio for our broadcast since I think it's like his 53rd year doing the radio for our broadcast. So I'll put him on there. You got to go Connor Shaw as well, you know, with what he did. Hard. We got a Heisman Trophy right here below us that George Rogers won, you know, Heisman Trophy winner as well. Oh, man. There's so many like going through my head right now.
This could go a couple different ways.
I'm someone in my head. A lot of different
ways. I can't name 5. I'm going to be getting emails and phone calls from guys.
I know. I'm like,
So I'm going to go.
Give me runner-ups for that 4 spot. That's 3 locks.
That's 3. We need one more.
3 locks.
Yeah, 3 locks. Certainly when you've got a guy in Jadeveon Clowney that was the number 1 player in the country coming out of high school, and he was the number 1 draft pick as well. That's everything a high school guy wants when he comes out of high school for sure. Marcus Lattimore, because of the career he had here, was cut short by injury. I love Alshon Jeffrey like a son. Yeah. It's hard for me not to say Alshon Jeffrey. It's hard for me not to say Stephon Gilmore as well because of what Stephon did. I mean, you can go on and on. DJ Swearinger.
Yes.
That's some dogs.
On and on. Before that, you know, Sterling Sharp as well. Ryan Brewer was back-to-back. This team won the Outback Bowl back-to-back years back in the early 2000s. On and on. I mean, God almighty, y'all going to get me fired.
No.
Now I'm just trying to think about every player. And I apologize to all the players that were like 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, I'm just thinking since I've been here.
That's a good list. Yep. Well, Coach, look, we thank you for your time. Yeah. Look, I know I bleed orange, but you guys support out of me. It's been cool. Thank you for welcoming us into the building. Love what y'all doing here. Wish y'all the best, man. I think it's going to be, like I said, most expectation y'all have had going to season. It's going to be fun to watch. Yeah. And I'm rooting for you every game besides one.
No, I get it, man. I appreciate that. Respect that. And y'all keep up the great work as well. And And to any former Gamecock football player, I apologize if I left you out. They put me on the spot. My brain is I'm thinking of names already that I didn't name as well. There's so many great ones, and hopefully we got some in our program right now that'll be on that Mount Rushmore of Gamecock football players as well. But
they probably
y'all
will.
are fantastic and continue to do what you guys do.
Thank you,
Always
Coach.
welcome.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank
Yes,
you, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep.